videos.
It happens.
He says live.
No.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another special E3 coverage podcast from Your Overseas Connection, the official podcast of G4TE.com, your gateway to a gaming mature community. I am one of your hosts today, Greg DeLacy, gamertag OC_Murphy's on Murphy's Law on Twitter, on Xbox Live. I'm pretty much flailing right here. I need more sleep today, Mark. Marcanix, Mark Wright, you're on the show. Help me out. What the hell's happening? That's good, Mark. That's a good response.
Well, you've just been Skyping like crazy. You sounded like a robot from Mars or something then. Yes, Mark Enix from Xbox Live, PSN, Steam and Twitters. How's everyone doing? I hope you're enjoying the E3 conferences.
All of Twitter and Twitch just responded to me saying that they are fantastically happy except for one individual, possibly two. One of them being in our panel today. Also on the show this week, Nicole Radowski. Nicole?
Yes, sir.
Are you
Hello,
excited
everybody.
to be talking about E3 today?
As long as we don't talk about what we're going to talk about. I was excited yesterday.
Okay.
I was. I
and-
pulled a Richard.
I know. I think we were all excited yesterday, and then there was today. But you know what? Hey, because we want to be fair and balanced, originally Fraser Moores was supposed to be on the show. He is the lone Nintendo fan of the group. Not really, but he is a voice of reason when it comes to Nintendo usually. He bowed out from tonight's show, and so we had to pull in somebody else, somebody that we knew would speak fondly and fairly about Nintendo, would give them glowing accommodations and praise for what they did at E3 this year. Gary Lever, Amras89, welcome to the show.
Fuck Nintendo. It pissed me off a little bit today. Yeah. Amras89 on Twitter, and I'm thumbing up the camera that no one that's listening can see.
Right. We actually will be streaming some of the different conferences in the window instead of our normal happy selves. Gary, real quick plug for the Gamesman. Why don't you throw it out there? I want you to get your dues before we make you cry.
Yep, Games and RPG. Find us at. Oh God, hold on.
Oh, that's brilliant, Gary.
Yes. We don't edit in
I was
this
like,
show.
wait, Twitch is playing.
Yeah.
No edit here.
Yeah. I'm not used to having the Twitch stream up. Anyway, so yeah, the Gamesman RPG, thegamesman.com. Find us over there. We record every Sunday night, possibly Saturday, like we did last week, and probably this week, just because I'll be tired from E3. So yeah, check us out. We have fun and swear a lot, and I praise Nintendo every once in a while.
All right. Well,
Not
fair.
anymore.
Fair
Every once in a
enough.
while.
Yeah, every once in a while. All right. Well, let's dive into it. We've got a lot of conferences we're actually going to be covering today. We're going to recap pretty much everything after the Microsoft conference. It will probably be a little more lengthy with regards to yesterday's conferences. I think today's conferences might be a little more short. But let's talk about EA. They kicked off the conference with a Mass Effect 4. And it was Mass Effect Andromeda.
Well, they didn't number it, did they?
Yeah, it's Mass Effect Andromeda. So they've gotten away from the numbers. Gary, first impressions, Mass Effect. You excited?
I was happy that it wasn't Mass Effect 4. Because I was going to be so angry if they called it Mass Effect 4. Just because it's not like in the same, the trilogy's dead. It's gone.
Right.
It can go away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We saw somebody running and jumping and stabbing somebody. Or almost stabbing somebody before they finished it. So there's not much really to say about it yet.
True.
I don't know if they're going to bring out more like this week about it, or if it's just like teaser and that's it for now.
Who knows? We shall see. Yeah, it was a little bit surprising. Mark, I know we were talking about this earlier. We expected a lot more coverage of Mass Effect, and we got basically the tease kiss.
Yeah, it was a very short CGI trailer. It was a very good CGI trailer, but very short, and Not much to go on, really. That's what notes I've got. Not much to go on.
Yeah, and I mean, a CGI trailer is in these days kind of not a good thing.
No, no. I think the infamous CGI trailer, what's killed most game trailers now for me was the Dead Island one, because the game was nothing like the trailer.
Right.
Even though the game was good, it was nothing like the trailer. So yeah, you got to be skeptical now of CGI trailers.
You do, you do. Nicole, are you excited for Mass Effect Andromeda? Come on, get excited.
No, no.
I know.
And I'm laughing because you told me to mute when I started it. And then you asked me a question.
I'm
All right.
here to confuse, Nicole. That's what I do. It's a special talent I bring to the podcast. All right, well, let's move on since there wasn't much to cover there. EA then dialed up, I believe, Need for Speed.
Need for Speed, yeah.
That was the next thing on screen, and it looks really nice. Racing games, though, I mean, when have we seen a really ugly racing game? I guess The Crew would probably qualify for that, but
Yeah.
it's hard to make racing games ugly.
No, they usually use them as a showcase, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, and this certainly was very showcasey, if you will. Gary, are you a big racer?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Dan is. He said it looked pretty. I'll go by what he says. It looked good.
It looked pretty, and hey, pretty is half the battle these days, especially with fans.
I'm quite happy with the premise of it. 'Cause it's going to be a mix of all the previous Need for Speed games. So you've got an element of Need for Speed Underground, which was the first Need for Speed I played on the original Xbox, on the OG. You've got elements of Carbon. You've got elements of Rivals in there, and you've got elements of Most Wanted with the police.
Yeah.
How much bigger
Opposite.
did they say it was from Rivals? Didn't they say it was like, I don't know, 4 times bigger or something like that? Like,
I think that's
Yeah,
just the
so it's
standard
huge,
going rate.
yeah. Yeah.
Four times increase is like across the board,
Yeah.
which you hear in all these games. Nicole, I'm not even
Typical
going
male math.
to. Hey.
Hey.
Deduct 5.
Just deduct 5 or add 5, depending on how you're talking. Nicole, I won't. I'm not going to pretend that you're interested in this game. You could shock me and say you are, but you've never been a racing fan, so I kind of figured this.
I'm not necessarily a racing fan, but I do have 2 racing games I like.
Oh.
And this isn't one of them.
I only like
So-
Burnout because I can make everything explode.
Yeah. I think all of us are looking forward to a Burnout reboot. That would be fantastic. The full motion video. I did notice they had some cutscenes with full motion video. Not a fan, and I'm kind of hoping they don't have that in the game, but I'm pretty sure they're going to have it in the game.
They had it with the original Most Wanted on the 360, sort of like launch release window, and it worked quite well on that. To be honest, I liked it.
Yeah, for me, those kinds of things, there's a very small window of them working well for a game and then them just failing miserably. But all right, so Need for Speed, it's out there. They announced a big expansion, a free expansion, I might add, for Knights of the Old Republic.
Subscribers. It's free to subscribers.
Isn't that
it's now free to play? So
Mark? That's free to everybody. Come on, that's
No,
how
no.
it works. All those
No, 'cause
PlayStation Plus games and Xbox Live games we get are free. They're free.
This is
Sure, we got to
PC
pay a
game.
subscription, but I mean, they're free. I'm kidding. No, yes, obviously there is a price to be paid to get the expansion, but they're not charging you anything additional beyond what they're already charging you for, if that makes sense. Gary, do you play Knights of the Old Republic?
I talked to Dan about it. I was like, I thought Old Republic was dead.
Surprise!
Yeah. I didn't even know it still existed. I thought they shut down the servers. Maybe that was another Star Wars one.
I'm pretty sure EA is looking at you, Gary, right now. They're like, Star Wars, hello, coming out this year. Of course, they're capitalizing on it.
Right.
Yeah, they'll keep it open for one more year.
It's coming out this October.
Yes,
Woo.
Knight of the Fallen Empire. It's fantastic. Okay, new IP from EA, which is a rarity these days.
Yeah, this sparked my interest. This looks really cute and
Ask
nice.
me about
I like
this
this.
Unravel.
Yeah.
So let's throw it around the room. Unravel. Mark, go ahead and start it up.
Well, this is It's basically a little character made of yarn, or if you're in the UK, wool. um, you've got to use your yarn to traverse the levels. So you can use it like for rope and for swinging and stuff. And to me, it came across like it's like a hybrid child of Tearaway, Little Big Planet, Kirby's Epic Yarn. That's what I've got written down, and it's very
Yoshi's Woolly
cute.
World.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's going to be quite an interesting new IP for EA. Because
Okay.
Tearaway and Little Big Planet and all them sort of games, they do go down really well as a different alternative to your shooters and everything. So
All right, Gary.
Yeah.
Unravel. Are you excited for it?
Okay, just watch Nicole's reactions because of what she said to Mark. She was already shaking her head. It's adorable, for one. The scenes look really, really good.
It's adorable.
yeah, because the sort of like the backgrounds of environments look real, but then
Yeah, they
you've got
look
this
very
little woolly
realistic.
character. Yeah, I liked
Yes,
it.
it looks really good. It's definitely like Yoshi's Woolly World. Like reminds me of that's coming out soon. But like I just saw it and like he drags yarn from him throughout the whole level, and he uses like yarn from himself to like travel. What they said in it was like he's connecting something. I can't remember. I need to watch the trailer again, or just them talking about it. But like he's like connecting all this stuff with his yarn, and I'm wondering like in the end if he's gonna like turn into nothing, because I was trying to see throughout the trailer if he was actually getting less yarn on him throughout each level that they were going through. I don't know. I'm excited to play it. It looks really, really cute.
It does look cute. Nicole, are you backing up this claim of cuteness?
Oh, it's freaking adorable.
It's adorable.
No, because that was actually one of my comments for a Nintendo game, and it's that
I know what Nintendo game you're talking about.
I
Yeah,
know.
the only one I liked
it's
before
the
I fell asleep.
same. It's to me, it's like somebody ripped off a version of Little Big Planet, and now somebody else is ripping off a version of this other game that we'll talk about later. And I'm just like, can we not just come up with something original anymore? So no,
Okay.
just
I
no.
thought it was quite
No.
original, that Unravel.
Nope. Mark, sorry. Fuck off. Nicole has said.
It's not
Nicole doesn't
that.
like anything cute and adorable. That's why she hates me.
But you busted me. Actually, I adore you.
Yay.
All right. Enough with this love fest. Let's move on. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. We actually already knew this was coming. It was announced in the Microsoft conference the previous day, but they showed off more. I don't know anybody that's super hating on this. It was a fun game when the first one came out. So
It seems to have reversed the roles, don't they? Instead of the zombies attacking the plants, the zombies seems to have settled in now and taken over, and the plants are attacking the zombies for a change.
right.
So yeah, it's a bit of a role reversal. But Greg, there's mechs in it. Plant
I know.
mechs.
There are mechs in it. Did I not say? I'm happy to see it's there. I'm not disputing that. There's mechs, titans, if you will.
I know my son
Oh,
said
no.
that. He goes, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, Mom, there's titans in this game."
I think that's what it was obviously there to resemble, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do a good job of spoofing.
Yeah.
While watching
Just-
this, I was like, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. And then I'm sitting over with Dan. Titanfall. Get to the extraction. Titanfall. And I was like, Titanfall 2 confirmed with zombies.
Yes, it will happen. Gary, are you excited for Plants vs. Zombies 2?
I didn't really care for the first one, and I don't terribly care for this one.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. You're excused from the podcast. I should correct. It's Plants
hell outta
vs.
here.
Zombies Garden Warfare 2. I kept saying just Plants vs. Zombies 2. That's already happened. All right. Next, we move to the most exciting part of the EA conference, sports.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, this is a bit. Right, these are my notes. I put NHL, PJ, other sports, boring. Those are my notes.
Yeah. So we can cover this real quick. I mean, it's the typical EA conference. A bunch of the sports franchises, they're all getting a similar, unique feature that's being added in. I think this year it's Ultimate Teams are getting some revamping. Look, there's one thing I wish they would stop doing, and they do it, I think, just as a time filler, and it pisses me off to no end, is these interviews with sports figures or celebrities. And other conferences have done this, and it's just as bad in those as well. And it's like they interview these people, and it's like a real interview. They're actually asking them about their life. We don't fucking care. We don't care. Look, Pele, you're a nice guy. You were a fantastic footballer. You did
some great
amazing things.
Adverts.
Amazing things. But
beautiful.
Jesus Christ, stop talking, get off the stage, let us see the goddamn game, and let's get over with the conference. That conference was extended by a good at least 15 minutes by all the crap they threw up there with different sports athletes that they were talking to. Pele, he alone was 15 minutes of wasted airspace. Gary, do you agree?
No, wasted air. I hate sports games. I cannot play any of them. I've never won. And just seeing them, and I was literally falling asleep in my chair watching it. So I know how you felt with Nintendo, bastards. Oh, it was hard to watch. Dan and I just.
Yeah. Well, hey, the good news is they are bringing NBA Live 16. It's making its second year in a row return. That's exciting. Some of our golf club members may be excited about
the
Rory
app we had
McIlroy
on the phone. There's an app in there now where you can capture your game face. That looked quite cool.
Oops.
Yeah.
Because I remember that from the earlier sort of games, the Tiger Woods games, and the old Rainbow Vegas 2. That had game face capture.
Mark, if there's one thing I have always known, it is these game face capture technologies only work on stage and in the presence of the actual EA and 2Ks when they're doing it. And when you try and do it at home, it never works the way you think it's going to work.
I thought it was hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah, they had the guy do it for the basketball thing, and he does the whole thing. He puts it on the one side, turns the head, and then it's like, oh, it looks just like me. And then they say a minute later, he gave us this a couple weeks ago or whatever, and he's in this game right now. He's playing right now. I was like, it's because you had the damn guy's face there for 2 weeks to work on it.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not going to work just right away. They probably had preloaded on the phone or whatever. Oh, and they didn't even show you it loading it up or whatever. He's it's done now.
Yeah, it was quite instantaneous. I don't think it'll really work like that.
Yeah.
He says it'll take 5 seconds.
5 seconds. I guess the best takeaway from this, these games all look fantastic, though. They probably look the best they've ever looked. So there's that. Now, moving on into the depths of EA, probably the big highlight, I think, for everybody was the Minions in Paradise game. I don't even know what the hell this is.
They did a bit of a mobile montage, didn't they?
Yes.
Galaxy of Heroes.
Before that, the Star Wars one looked better. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. That looks quite cool.
I think I blinked. I blinked. I missed it. I apologize. This was an area that I had actually kind of tuned out on. So, I just had the Minions of Paradise, and the quote of more Minions.
Yeah, it's just like your usual sort of world builder type game with a paywall and everything and the timers.
And quick question though, am I wrong? Weren't the Minions? Didn't they used to be a Ubisoft property?
I think you're thinking of Rabbids.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of Rabbids. Equally disgusting.
They're tied to Illumination, the movie animators, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But I just thought for sure I had seen a Minions game last year with Ubisoft, but maybe I'm thinking Rabbids. You could very well be right, Gary. But hey, why even spend any more time than we need to on this?
Because
Minions.
the community's so into phone games. Nicole wants to play this.
I don't. Look, my kids love Minions and all that, but after I hear my son do the sound effects for a Minion 500 times in a row, last thing I'm going to do is play a damn game where I have to hear them all day long. Not going to happen.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with the fact that it may or may not be a cute game. It has to do with the fact that even though I love my children, there are times when they irritate the shit out of me with sound effects, and the minions is one of them.
It happens.
That Beto thing, my son, Beto. Oh my god.
Beto.
Yeah, shush. I will reach through this and hurt you.
Courtney loves the minions so much.
Well,
they're adorable.
we've got a game for her.
Right?
She'll probably,
Yes.
I'll show it to her, maybe.
All right, we have given this far too much conversation. Let's move on. Next was Pele talking for almost 15 minutes and telling us just how fantastic everything is. But Mirror's Edge Catalyst, that was the big one, if you will, in terms of their newer unknown IPs coming out, even though this leaked out a little bit ahead of time.
Like last year.
Yeah. I gotta admit, I have a feeling this is going to fail like the first one did. I think this game is loved in circles of people, kind of almost nostalgic-like. They think it is going to be better than it is. I just don't know this game is going to be anything more than kind of where it was before with its success. Gary, any thoughts on that?
It looks pretty, but one thing I want to put in, leaked. Wasn't it brought out like the end of last year's conference or something? Like they just teased it real quick.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
just-
We didn't know it was
like-
called Catalyst. We just knew Mirror's Edge was coming.
They didn't call it Catalyst last week, did they? They just said
No,
it's
no.
not a sequel or whatever.
Just
Yeah.
said Mirror's Edge is back, and we just flashed the titles up on the
Right.
screen, and then walked off the stage.
But like, I still haven't played the first one, and I don't know how well like the whole combat thing's gonna work with it.
I've heard it wasn't very good. I've not played it neither, and I've heard it wasn't very good
It's
combat.
okay, we'll have Oculus Rift support, and everyone's gonna throw up.
I was just going to say, if you put Oculus on this, it is like a surefire way to get people throwing up. Or Morpheus for that fact, but we'll talk about that shortly.
I mean, it looks pretty, so.
It does look pretty. Nicole, are you interested in playing a... Is she a spy now? Is that her role, if I remember correctly? She's a spy now? She used to be a messenger. That was in the first game.
What it seems like I saw, it looked like she was breaking out of somewhere. And so it was like she was arrested or something, and she broke out, so I'm not exactly sure where they were going with that. But it seemed kind of spy-esque.
Yeah, if I'm going to be a badass chick, I'll be Lara Croft.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. After that, they followed up with more sports, talking about Madden 16 and draft champions and fantasy football, which, I mean, that's probably more exciting for me, somebody that's a big fantasy football fan. But
Is that what that thing was they were showing with the it's like
Yes.
second round draft?
Yes,
seventh
yes.
round.
It was not terribly compelling, and I mean even I can say that with definitive. No. I mean it's great to have in the games, and I'm sure it'll be a nice feature, but to spend that much time talking about it, it's a big deal in terms of money, and revenue generating stuff in terms of fantasy football, but I don't need to go on and on about that at a press conference. Anybody want to comment on that, or should we just move on to Star Wars Battlefront?
Yeah,
You
no,
and
my
Gary
notes
are gonna
were.
hate each other even more.
I just put boring lol.
Boring, lol,
Lol.
lol.
To watch sports, but I don't want to play
So,
them.
Star Wars Battlefront.
Yes,
Got some gameplay footage.
yes,
Oh
we
my
did.
God.
Yeah, looked good, sounded fantastic.
It reminded me of Battlefield 4 in a Star Wars setting.
So that's
the way the characters run and
Yes.
vehicles.
Mark, I think you hit a nail on the head, and that's actually a bit of my concern.
Yeah.
It feels potentially like this, they're doing some different things with different vehicles, but it ultimately it's Battlefield,
It was just
Star Wars.
It was just like a game of Conquest, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and we don't have any single player mode to make fun of.
No.
No, so you basically got Battlefield 4, and then you get a Star Wars skin. That's it.
Which, I still could be okay with, I have to admit.
Oh, yeah.
Watching it was pretty awesome. Gary,
It
I-
was cool looking.
I can tell
But
Gary
I
you were
could-
excited.
I can trip over an AT. AT. Oh, I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. Flying
Yeah,
aspect is gonna be really cool.
Gary, do you have
And
any thoughts about the whole Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker entering into the battlefield?
um, I guess you could say it's kind of like a tank coming in and just tearing shit up whenever one side seems to be losing, and then it seems like they get a head start-ish. I'm not sure,
Right.
and then the other one comes in. It was kind of cool. Like they showed the guy getting choked, and then the other guy turns around, and Darth Vader's there. He's like, "Fuck."
Probably what he actually said. Um, yeah, no. So I think this was absolutely the highlight to EA's press conference. Star Wars Battlefront. I think everybody is really getting excited behind it. Um, I don't really see there a reason not to be excited behind it. It's definitely got a Battlefield feel, but maybe that's exactly what we need for a Star Wars Battlefront game. So
Let's
um,
just hope it doesn't have Battlefield glitches.
Hear, hear. Well said, Nicole. Well said. And on that note, I think we can put a bow on the EA conference. We'll just do a quick roundabout, give it a quick grade. Nicole, why don't we kick back to you? Give us a EA grade real fast.
Like on a scale of 1 to 10, or
Letter grade, 1 to 10, however you want.
well, they weren't the worst.
They weren't the worst. All right.
Nah, I give them C because that's average.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Mark, you?
On 1 to 10, she gives him a C.
Yes, 1 out
I
of 10.
said no. I asked, did you
I
want
know.
1 to 10, and he said I could do a letter grade.
I
And
think
was
the
like,
letter
"Oh,
grades
okay."
are actually pretty fitting, so we can go letter
Yeah.
grades. Mark, what do you think? Letter
Well,
grade
last
'em.
year I got told off for saying A star. You said it didn't exist, but it did. So,
Well, A star is just
Yeah.
British rubbish.
yeah.
English.
A plus.
I'd give EA a C because there were a lot of boring bits, a lot of sport and interviews which didn't need to be in there. So yeah, C for me.
Okay. Gary, what about you?
I'm giving him a B with Battlefront.
Yeah,
B for Battlefront. Yeah.
B for Battlefront. I'm kind of fluctuating between that B and the C. I'd probably maybe go C plus if I was going to add a little plus onto it. Battlefront really saved the conference.
I just completely disregarded the sports, so that raised the grade.
Well, the sports actually detracted from their conference for me just because of the way they handled it. Like Mark said, I think that they did a
Well,
lot
that's
of
what I said.
just
You ignored it.
yeah.
Yeah, I ignored it, so that's what raised it up.
Fair enough.
What they did was they seemed to go game, sport, game, sport. I'd rather them just get sport out of the way and then concentrate on the main games. So,
Yes.
Yeah. I won't argue with that at all, Mark. All right, so that's it. EA is a wrap. From here, we moved on. The exciting conference that was, and it wasn't
I liked it.
wasn't the worst conference in the world.
I'm biased because I like Aisha Taylor.
I
I'm tired of her.
yeah, I think her act is yeah, it's
Find somebody new. We're done. Move on.
like what Nicole said.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ubisoft, it kicked off pretty robust conference. So let's run through it real quick if we can.
Yeah, good opening.
Yeah, South Park, the
Yeah.
fractured but whole.
Whole.
Love that.
I was cracking up.
It was hilarious when she was interviewing Matt and Trey, and she said, "Well, you said on the last one you weren't going to make another game,
Right.
And said, "Yeah, but we did."
Well, and then they dropped the F-bomb, I think. They just pretty much
Yeah.
on stage were like,
Yeah.
yeah, we said fuck it. And we,
Fuck it, yeah.
so, yeah, I think all of us
'Cause-
pretty excited for that. Nicole?
Yeah, because now I
didn't
know
play
them
the
two
first one.
guys. Yeah. Oh, the first one's brilliant. It's hilarious.
I didn't play the first one, so I'm meh, whatever. I mean,
Okay, all
I
right.
think if you didn't have them two guys writing the story and the lines, it wouldn't be the same. But because those two guys are writing it, I'm in big time.
And I think you do have to be a bit of a South Park fan of the comedy that they bring to appreciate the game a little bit more. Gary, what about you? South Park? You excited?
I really enjoyed Stick of Truth. And then I thought it was funny how went along with it, and then they just changed it to superheroes like halfway through.
Right.
Yeah, they've
It's
gone
like, oh,
from
we're playing the wrong game.
they've gone from like a Final Fantasy, well, MMO type of thing, haven't they, to a
Well, it was like
superhero.
Lord of the Rings, what they were going
Yeah,
with.
Dungeons and Dragons type. Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be
Solid.
really good.
Solid opening for sure.
We had a swear counter going on Ubisoft.
How
Just
much
because
did they
they
get
said-
to?
Well, I have to ask Dan. He had it. I think the total was like $6 throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, there were at least two in the
There were
South Park
3 in
one.
the first 5
Okay.
minutes. Oh, it was bad.
One thing I wanted to address real quick that I thought was it threw me off. So Ubisoft actually, before they announced the South Park game, they did this little video montage, and it was kind of God. Jimmy Kimmel does a thing on Twitter where he does it on his show where it's sports athletes and like basically tweets to them from angry fans, and it's basically these tweets that they have to read out loud where these fans are basically just calling them pieces of shit. And Ubisoft did the same thing at the beginning of the show. They went through, they were reading these tweets towards them, basically calling them out for the last few games, calling them basically like they were making crap games, that they weren't any good anymore, and it was really just to address the issue that they understand and hear their fans, and they're trying to do better, and they are promising to do better. Now, of course, that all remains to be seen, but I actually was a little thrown by that. I thought that was a genuine attempt to say, we hear you. And did any of you guys catch that at the beginning of the Ubisoft conference?
Yes.
Did you find it genuine, Gary, or did you think it was disingenuous?
I think it was both. I think it's like we listen and we don't care what you say. But I like the one where Yves, I can't remember his last name, Fiamon or whatever.
Guillemot.
Fiamon, yeah.
Guillemot.
And he's like reading the one. He's like, I've had lunch with Yves, and I can confirm he's 3'6" tall. Or the one where like the guy's like, yeah, I pirate that shit.
Yes, and they're like, and thank you for that. Yeah. No, so it was an interesting way to start the conference for sure. All right, so moving back into the games proper, new IP rolls right after the South Park game, For Honor. Kind of interesting. So it looks like it's a 4-player cooperative experience, or at least squad-based knights. And I say knights loosely because there were, basically knights from the Crusades. It looks like there was a samurai character in there.
Yeah, there's samurais. There's another group as well. There was knights, samurais, and another one.
There was 4 different types to it. I wish
like
I'd...
Knight, Samurai, Viking, and
Yes.
Viking.
couldn't tell what the other one exactly was because it was kind of like in between the Knight.
Right.
Like they still had armor on and everything, so I wasn't exactly sure.
And even though it was 4-on-4, you still had a lot of like AI cannon fodder, like in
Right.
Titanfall.
Right.
I really liked that part about it.
Yeah,
That
I
you
do,
could actually kill other stuff too.
Yeah.
It looked pretty manic. And at first I was a little afraid it was too manic, but as you said, Mark, you could square off against another squad in the PvP area. It had a very Assassin's Creed-like feel to me at first. When I first saw the combat playing out, it looked like it was a series of attacks and parries. But I'm pretty excited for this one if they can pull it off well. I just want to know the premise behind it because I don't quite get the, it's 4 Musketeers, but 4 Musketeers from like different parts of the world. And so
In different eras.
yeah, in different eras. So if this suddenly becomes some kind of crazy Assassin's Creed spin and tie-in, I'm going to be angry. But yeah, For Honor. So excited or no?
Yeah, I think it looks great. Yeah, I was impressed by it.
Gary,
I'd like
yeah?
to see more. I'd like to see more of that.
I thought it was really, really cool. I did like the kind of combat going back and forth. It's a little bit more slow pace, so you gotta kind of time your hits and everything because you're not just shooting someone in the face.
Right.
I don't understand he hits the guy and then he grabs the blade of the sword and hits him like with the blade, but he has like the handle on the other side now. I'm like, why is he doing that? It doesn't make sense. And I can't remember what Dan said. He said something like it adds finesse or something. I don't know, but it was really really cool. I really want to see more about it. I wonder if there's going to be like a single player part, like you're going up against, I don't know if you guys ever played Dune, where there was a map and there were the three factions. There's Harkonnen, Atreides, and I can't remember, Ordos, I believe it is. And you would go through in missions, except this was an RTS instead of like a battle, just like arena kind of battle it looked like. And you would take the map over slowly throughout the game. So
Okay.
if they could have like a kind of single player like that, that would be kind of cool. And you have like your group, and you're just going against. It was kind of like you could do a Warriors kind of game as well, where there's a
Right.
bunch of people that you can kill. So I'm kind of excited to see what could come from it.
Yeah, well, I would agree. And Nicole, what about you? For Honor, are you on
It's
it?
pretty. It's very pretty.
She calls
I don't
this
know.
pretty, but not unraveled.
She likes her blood and guts. She likes
I
her blood
do.
and guts.
I do, and honestly, there's like one game that I'm really happy about, and this would be one of those that if I hear a lot of good reviews and a lot of my friends are playing, I might get into it. But if you have to have friends and it has to be multiplayer, probably not.
Right. Okay. Well, something I know you're excited for, Nicole. The Crew expansion Wild Run was then announced just after For Honor. So this game, as I'm pulling up stuff here, I just realized we didn't have any footage of For Honor on, so I'm going to throw that up for those watching. So the Crew expansion Wild Run, I was shocked to hear they were releasing an expansion for this game. I did not think this fared well in retail sales. Anybody here a fan of the Crew? Raise your hand if you are. Raise your hand if you're sure.
Could
I
not.
got it for Christmas. Yeah, I got it for Christmas on the Xbox One, and I've hardly played any of it.
Did you return it?
No, I've still got it.
I
Sell
See,
hated it.
Sell
my
it.
gaming crew, but not that game.
Gotcha. Let's see.
Dan says he likes monster trucks. That's about it.
Who
But-
doesn't
but-
love monster trucks? I guess the big key on this, it looked like a lot of off-road stuff, and motorcycles was the big kind of hint that they were bringing to the table on this.
To me, it seemed like Gordon Ramsay had got hold of the Crew, put it in a big wok, then thrown in a bit of Forza Horizon, a bit of MotorStorm,
Right.
and a bit of Dirt 2, give it a good stir fry, and then redished it up. That's what it was like to me.
Okay.
Ooh, I want stir fry for dinner now. Thanks.
Okay. And it's funny, you're talking about stir fry, and I'm watching the guy get beheaded on the screen. All right.
Oh, wait, and that's with the sword thing he was talking about.
That
'cause
was
he's
with
doing.
the sword
yeah.
thing. Yep. The sword thing. All right. From there, we got Trials Fusion Awesome Level Max.
What the hell?
Oh, a cat
Hey.
riding, fireball breathing unicorn.
Yeah. Hello. How can you not love that? I mean, that is just straight up dope, as Kaisha or whatever her name would say. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'm kind of over Trials at this point. I
Been
think,
there, done that, bought the game, move
yeah,
on.
I need a little more distance before they bring out another Trials. An expansion isn't really going to wow me, even if it is cats riding on unicorns that breathe fire. All right, so next, and possibly, well, I would say For Honor in this game were highlights to the evening. The Division Dark Zone was revealed and talked about. So
One quick thing I want to say about this Trials Fusion.
right.
I couldn't remember who got the rights to Darksiders, but I saw a horse, and then I was like, wait, and then I saw a gun. I didn't know what they would use, but I saw a gun. I was like, wait, is this Darksiders 3? And then it was a cat on a unicorn. I was like, oh, like my expectations went so down. It was terrible. But yes, Division, awesome. I want to talk about the ending to this video.
Yeah. All right. So Division. they were basically revealed kind of the PvP area. Because normally this game you're playing it more player versus environment, so you're playing against AI. But there is an opportunity to go into the dark zone where basically it's player versus player, but you can actually cooperatively work together with other random groups. I got the sense that it was at most three groups in one area. I didn't get a sense you could have 4 or 5 different groups of multiplayer players in there. So it's a squad of 3, and you can have 2 other squads of 3 in there, as far as I understand it. And you're going up against other AI at times, but you can work together or you can kill one another, and then you keep the loot that they leave behind. And it actually goes all the way down to the last man standing can keep the loot, as we saw in this video. Gary, let's talk to it now. So they basically fight this big firefight. 2 random groups get together. They fight together.
No, was it 2 random groups? I think it even said it was like AI, or not, I think it said non-player character agent or something like that.
There were some sort of like AI characters, but then 2 more real people came up behind them and started helping them.
I thought they said NPC on them.
Yeah, they were real, and so then it was a matter of, all right, well, do we work with them? Do we not? And they're like, oh, let's work with them. And then they get to the extraction point after they've taken care of the AI, and they've got their loot, and they're getting ready to go. And one guy is talking to one of the other gals in the group, and he's like, hey, they've got pretty good loot. And suddenly you get this real dirty feeling about this game. Gary, what did you think?
Well, it's got the worst aspect that like nobody should be doing. You don't want to be a dick in a game, but they're just like, yeah, let's take them. There's 3 of us, 2 of them. Let's do it. Then they do it, and then the one guy's down, and the girl goes to help the guy after they kill him. And then the other guy that's like on their team goes, I'm a dick, and kills them both. And takes all the loot.
Yep.
You wouldn't have any friends ever again if you did that.
Yeah, but you know what? This is gonna happen. This will totally happen. Even amongst friends, you're gonna have that just douchey friend moment where, and it'll be all in fun. I guarantee it. And probably the next round you're gonna be like, all right, go ahead and kill me now, but it'll be funny. And it's going to be that standoff where you're all sitting there waiting to extract, and you're just like guns pointed at one another, waiting for somebody to trigger, and one person's going to start firing, and it's like the Mexican, the last stand. Everybody's going to shoot one another, and it's just going to be ugly.
Well, let's get into it this way. Mark, you play Destiny, right?
Yeah.
If your friend went up and took your loot and didn't give you it back, maybe in the end, would you be a little pissed?
They'd be off my fucking friends list quicker than you can say bastard.
Now, Mark, what if you were playing a game where you took somebody that maybe they were down and out, maybe sleeping, and you dragged their body over a fire pit and shot them with an M16? I mean, similar kind of thing, right?
I don't know what you're talking about, Greg.
All right, well, real quick, Division, are we still excited for this game? Gary, why don't you start it off?
I still want to see more. I've never been like a big shooter kind of person. There are some times like I get into it, like Titanfall's a little into it and stuff, but
it's an action RPG, Gary. It is not a shooter. It is classified as an action RPG, just so you know.
Yeah, it's all about shooting.
Gary's
I haven't
response
seen
to me,
anything not.
Shut up, Craig. It's a shooter.
Yeah. I have not. What do they classify Destiny as? Because that's. Yeah. It's
shooter. Destiny is not an MMO, by the way, just in case you thought it was. Sure, it has all the trappings of an MMO, but it is not an MMO. All right, Gary, on the fence. Mark, I know you're on board. Nicole, The Division, is it still something you're excited for?
I actually, when I saw this in the
Does it have chainsaws? No.
No, it doesn't have chainsaws, and that's their own fault. If all good games should have chainsaws. Don't even get me started on the chainsaws right now. But I actually was like, I like the premise. So, apocalyptic type stuff. So, yeah. And the Tom Clancy stuff is good. So, why not?
Okay. Why not? Why not indeed? The next game up was Anno 2205 or 2200. Fucking A.
2205.
2205. That game. It's a city builder game. It's an expansion going to space.
Futuristic, city builder, yeah.
I was not a big city builder player at all. Like, never touched it. Gary, I think you might be the only person that played city builder. If you did, that response tells me
No,
enough.
not
Gary.
really. City building games not into. I know Dan is a lot more than I am, but it looks really cool, like getting the space and doing all that stuff. I don't. I kind of need to see more in-game stuff, but I do want to. Somebody, I think it was Dan, bought Anno. I can't even remember what it was now.
2205. I'm an
No,
expert at saying it now.
last one.
Oh, Anno 111103. I don't know. I'm making shit up.
Yeah, but I never. Well, I installed it. I just haven't played it. But I do like the premise of the games, especially with the what can go on in them. I want to see what could happen in space. That maybe a meteorite like hits your civilization and destroys half of it. I don't know, but it's interesting to me. I would like to check it out more.
Okay. All right. Nicole, are you a big city builder fan?
No, I got Minecraft. I'm good.
Okay.
No, it wasn't that. It's just I don't know. It didn't.
You've never struck me as this kind of a gamer. I'm not into the big city building stuff either.
Yeah.
I always think I'm going to be, and I turn out I'm crappy at it. I make horrible cities, and I have no patience for them.
It's not that I get mad because it's not turning out the way I want it. I don't have the patience for it. With Minecraft, I can just shovel it back up and be done.
Yes. Agreed. Speaking of shovelware, that is. Just Dance 2016 announced. That's still a thing.
Can we just skip it?
My kids love that crap.
Yeah, it deserves a mention only because they have innovated on the game that you now can use your phone camera as the camera. So you don't need a console camera, the PSI or the Kinect camera anymore. You can use your phone. So awesome.
So what, do you stand in front of your phone and
I
dance?
think you put your phone up on a shelf and use the camera from that's all I could think of.
Oh.
All I could
Because I thought last year they came out and remember they had like those people all around the stage like just dancing, and I think they were just using the phone for it or whatever. So I don't know how they were using that to track, but it's weird.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're not using the camera on the phone. Maybe you're just making the vibrations and the gyroscope inside is tracking the fact that you're bouncing. I don't know. I don't care.
Did anybody pick up on the potential cash cow they announced?
Yes.
The next gen versions of that game.
Yes, Mark.
You could subscribe to a streaming service.
I just want to make just let you know my note for this game on my notes just vomited in my mouth. That's how I felt about that. And then they announced dance streaming subscription, and I really threw up.
Yeah. Is that Courtney?
Yes.
Yep, that was I figured she wanted to say hi to Nicole.
She just waved hi to the internet. Congratulations.
Yeah, but they can't see her.
True. I forgot. We're no camera here. All right. Let us move on from Just Dance because we really gave way too much time. So Rainbow Six Siege was the next game. Terror Hunt, which I was cracking up because I think everybody in the Sun thought they made a big typo. But no, that is the terrorist hunt mode for them. It's Terror Hunt.
They made it sound like they called it Terror Hunt in Vegas too, didn't they?
Terror
Hunt is back. They were terrorist hunt, you daft twats.
Yeah, I think it's just the French, Mark. I think it's the French and they can't say things properly. So the interesting thing about the Terror Hunt, it's terrorist hunt. Come on.
Yeah.
It's single or co-op, so you can actually go in as a single player. I was happy to hear about this. I'm still a little nervous that I don't see a real single player. I would have loved a real single player for this. Mark, I know you were a big fan of Rainbow Six back in the day.
Yes.
Let's have you respond first on this. Are you excited for this?
Yeah, play Terrorist Hunt for hours and hours and hours. A lot of the G4T people are big on Vegas too. And this is what I wanted to see from Vegas 6 Siege. I was a bit worried that it was just going to be the usual multiplayer PvP, So when I saw this, because it's basically against AI, and my notes say it looks fucking mint. So yeah, um, big thumbs up for me. What did
Uh,
you think, Nicole? Did you play Vegas 2?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I thought you did. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I saw this and I was like, yes. And then I
Yeah.
think they said something about if you got it, you got 1 and 2 also,
Yeah.
or something. So there, you get other games, the older games with it, Vegas and so I don't
Vegas 1
remember.
and 2. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I still
I
got
put my
mine.
notes away, damn it.
Those are
But
two games I'll never sell.
well, yeah, and that's the funny thing is I have one of them and I couldn't find the other one, and now if I get it, I'll have both. And I'm just like, ah, that makes it even better. So yeah, I'm a little excited. A wee
Gary,
bit.
Rainbow Six Siege.
I never played any of the other ones, but this one looked really cool.
Off the
Oh,
podcast.
no.
Off. Leave.
I don't have people to play games with. Nobody plays anything with me.
That's because you play on the Nintendo.
No,
You're not.
play on other stuff.
PlayStation.
I was
I play on
joking.
everything. I'm just
I was
too,
joking. I was joking. Everybody relax. Calm
just too
down.
poor to get the other stuff.
No, I hear you. All of our wallets, I think, have been groaning after this E3 so far.
Right?
Yeah. So
I've already
Mine's been
already
crying.
auctioned up my wife, my dog, my car, my house.
I know mine said, "Bitch, please." Yeah, because I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy the most expensive version of Gears of War 3 I can find, or Gears of War 3, 4." Oh my
Gotcha.
God, I'm no good with numbers anymore.
it
But
happens.
it's not Gears of War. It's Gears 4.
Yeah, it's
True.
Gears 4.
True.
Well,
it is
I was
Gears
thinking
4.
of all
I'm
three
wondering-
Gears.
I'm wondering actually if that has anything to do with it, like Gears 4 not being Gears of War. I don't know what they're
Possibly.
gonna do now.
Huh?
Because I was hoping they were gonna do pre-war stuff, but they're not, and I'm gonna stop talking because that was Microsoft.
It's okay. That's all right. All right. Well, let's continue on Rainbow Six Siege. By the way, for me, excited, but like I said before, wishing there was a little bit more meat in the single player side of it. But I think it's going to be a day one for me.
Yeah.
Trackmania Turbo was also announced for the Xbox One and PS4. This is a big PC game. I don't think a lot of console gamers know of Trackmania, so I don't know they know to be excited for it or not, but there's tons of track support. It looks like it is fantastically fun and fast. Scary to hear there's VR support for this game. I cannot imagine playing this in virtual reality. It is insanely fast. And for those that don't know Trackmania, it's a racing game, but it's not. It's completely arcadey. You're playing in futuristic racetracks that go upside down, sideways, left, and right. And it is just insane. And did I mention insane? So
I was thinking
It
the
reminded
Hot
me of,
Wheels games from back in the day.
Yeah. It reminded me of a toy car version of Trials.
yeah, I could see
Like
that.
just beating the times.
It had kind of that Wipeout feel to me as I
Yeah.
was watching it because of the way the tracks did loops and corkscrews and things like that. But this is one that's kind of on my radar now. But it's one that the community is going to really have to get behind, I think, for it to be a success, at least for us.
Yeah. That thing where they did a new track on the fly where it just created a track right in front of you.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
the
quite cool.
generated
That
ones.
was really cool.
Yeah, very
That's
cool.
That's what I've made a note on, so that stood out for me. So what's next, Greg?
So next we finished up with Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Sorry, we didn't finish up with Assassin's Creed Syndicate. There were 2 games left. Assassin's Creed Syndicate was second to last. My notes on this: it's Gangs of New York in London. We know it's single player only. I don't know. I'm so past Assassin's Creed games right now that it's hard for me to get excited for it. So
I really
I
kind
am,
of want to
though.
see it in this area. It's kind of cool, and I want Dan to do a a commentary video of it because he was making some funny British, like back in that time, like "Oi, governor," and it was just hilarious. I'm gonna make him do it and put it up on YouTube. It's gonna be
Yeah,
great.
just don't ask Greg to do. He can't do British accents.
No,
Yeah, I just heard that today.
Yeah, no. I'm looking forward to it, but that's simply because I haven't purchased. I didn't from when they went to the Revolution. From that point on, I have not purchased an Assassin's Creed, so I haven't worn myself out yet. I didn't get Black Flag. I didn't get it. I couldn't afford them, so I didn't get them. So I'm looking forward to this one because first of all, I get to play as a girl, Evie.
Yeah.
Evie
You
is
can do.
badass.
I know she looks pretty badass. I was like, oh man. So I was very excited about that option. You can play. I think it said you got to switch back and forth between brother or sister in certain parts, because I don't remember what the brother's name was, but so I think it'll be cool. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, yeah. Because see, I had already skipped all the other ones, so
Yeah, no, and
I'm looking.
I've been neglecting my duties of updating our video as well as I just thought about it here because we're watching the Just Dance presentation still.
Come on, that's
Yeah,
the best
they're gonna
one,
beat you.
and everyone wants that.
Yeah. Um, yeah, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. It could be great. I do like the fact that they're single player focused because I think the
Yeah.
multiplayer focusing has hurt the team a little bit. So anyway, all right, let us move on to the last game covered, which was Ghost Recon Wildlands.
And they didn't say what this was at first, did they? They just started showing the footage.
Yeah, yeah.
And at first I thought, well, that looks like Far Cry 4 engine to me. And then when the name came up at the end, I thought, oh god, I want that so bad.
Yeah, I thought for sure this was going to be a Tom Clancy Splinter Cell game.
Mm.
So it was I was because I love Tom Clancy, so I was pumped for that. But I'm still kind of pumped for it. I love Ghost Recon.
Oh, this
Is this
looks
the
amazing.
third Tom Clancy game they showed this conference?
Yes.
Yes, it
'Cause
is.
And if
Division,
you include
Rainbow Six, and Ghost Recon now.
yeah,
Yeah.
and if you include Vegas 1 and 2, what you get free with Siege, that's 5 Tom Clancy titles in one show.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm on board
Actually,
for it.
That's only Microsoft though, right? Because they're getting the backwards compatibility.
Oh, yes, you're correct. Rainbow
So,
Six
I don't
Siege is
think
an
it is-
exclusivity.
Oh, it is.
Sorry,
I didn't
sorry.
even know it was exclusive to Microsoft.
I'm misquoting.
just
We're going to
thought
get
of-
raging fanboys at me right now. So Rainbow Six is not. So Siege is not exclusive to Microsoft. However, the offer of Rainbow Six Vegas and Vegas 2 is exclusive to Microsoft. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yes.
Clear as mud. All right.
So, do you like the premise of Wildlands then, Greg? With the like you're a drug enforcement agency and you're taking out the cartels and things.
Yeah,
I think that's quite.
I think it could be a great turn for him.
Yeah.
I think the old, the direction they were going before, I think they took it to its limits of cold. Well, basically, kind of staving off World War III every time. It's the same thing as Call of Duty, although Call of Duty, of course, has let World War III happen. So I was happy to see them kind of getting away from that, and I think drug enforcement could be a really cool angle, assuming that they produce on it. But I have all the faith in the world for Ghost Recon. I've enjoyed all of their games, so I'm in. Nicole, are you down for Ghost Recon?
It won't be a day one purchase, but I think in the long run, if it comes in on the cheap, I'd be interested.
Okay, Gary, Ghost Recon.
Another shooter, I'm not sure. There are too many shooters, and I need to find one that I'll actually like to play with people. And this one is basically just co-op, kind of like, or 4-player kind of co-op through these missions. I didn't understand it too well. I don't know if there's actually like 4-on-4 matches, or if it's just you're going in there and killing the target or capturing them or whatever.
Right. I mean, in terms of the single player, usually it's PvE, so you're going against the environment. But I'm sure they will have a player versus player element to it. I'd be shocked if they didn't. All right. Well, that does it for Ubisoft. So at this point, Mark, I'm going to kind of turn things over a little bit to you to let you run Sony, since you took notes. I I was watching the Sony conference from my cell phone while driving, which is not recommended for anybody, but at least caught enough of it. So, Mark, let's let you lead the conversation.
Yep. Sony opened up with Shuei Yoshida announced a game what everyone's been waiting for, massively anticipated, and finally we got gameplay footage and a release date for Last Guardian.
They give a release date?
Yeah,
Well,
2016.
A release time frame.
Yeah,
Sorry, not
they
a
didn't
date,
say
a year.
They committed to 2016, so that will make this what 8 years in development.
Past 8 years. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, so it's not what I thought it'd be. It's a bit of a puzzle platformer to me. It looks like I've not played Ico or Eco, whatever it's called. What you said it looks like, Greg. So
yeah, I mean, it's Team Eco. They did Shadow of the Colossus. They did. There's another game they did, Gary. You might know the name
called
of it.
Eco, wasn't it?
I think it was called Eco.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Eco.
So it's got that vibe. It looks really nice.
Yeah.
The dog looks a little mangy to me.
I think that's the thing of being the last Guardian. But was anybody else really disappointed by what they showed?
Well, because it was pretty
Like,
much
it
what
was
they
just-
showed before.
Yeah, it was really boring. Like, he's just making it through this first puzzle, and that's all they showed, right? They didn't show anything even after it. It was just like 2016.
Yeah, it was eerily similar to what they showed before, except for they did show a little more expanded gameplay from before. But I mean, it was kind of identical to the reveal. And the dog is whiny. The dog complains a lot. It whines a lot. Nicole,
No,
are
you
you
just shoot the damn dog and move on?
are you excited for Last Guardian, Nicole, or no?
No.
No. Okay. I suppose we can move on, Mark.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Next came a new IP, and I thought this looked fantastic. It's called Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's from Guerrilla Games, who made Killzone. And it's like, to me, it reminded me of like a Jurassic Skynet, where there's robot animals taking over Earth, and you're fighting them back.
Right.
It looked really cool, and
Yes.
it looks gorgeous.
Yes.
It is Monster Hunter Mech Edition.
Yeah.
But it looks
That's
cool.
exactly what it is.
Instead of Skynet, it's Sky Pet.
Sky
Well,
Pets.
it's because they called us whatever gods from the old or whatever, and
Yeah.
it's one of those post-apocalyptic things. So it got my attention.
Yeah, I thought it was
And-
cool how they showed that off, actually.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. So basically, what is that movie, I, Robot, where the robots took over? But these
Yeah.
are robot pets that are taking over, and they've destroyed everything. And now, in order to survive, you've got to go get all these things off of these animals. So it looked cool. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big hit for Sony. So, what did you think of it, Greg? Did you see that bit?
So I saw it in bits and pieces. I'm excited for it. I want to see more from it. I'm not the biggest Guerrilla fan. I don't necessarily think they make terribly good games. I know that's blasphemy to a lot of the Sony fans, but I just don't find them terribly creative when it comes to their stories. Killzone was basically, they ripped off World War II. It was Nazis versus the Allies, and that was the whole premise behind Killzone. And then there were just some weird things with Killzone that didn't float with me. You go to their homeworld, the Helghast, and you're wandering through the cities, and it's just all soldiers, which that can't happen. There has to be some way of that population growing. I don't know. It looks fantastic, and that is awesome. And dinosaurs, anytime you have dinosaurs, is awesome. I want to know why they have these robotic dinosaurs cruising around that clearly use advanced technology, and yet all of these individuals look like they're cave people.
Oh, she says that they
They're sort of like
there was a
forced into
hierarchy
extinction, aren't they?
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I missed that. So that's
Yeah.
important for me. That makes more sense now. And I love the fact
Yeah.
that you're able to use cover and hide. And so, I'm pretty excited for
Assassin's
this.
Creed. Woo.
No, hide in the bushes,
That's what I thought whenever I saw it. But like, I love the look of this. I don't know if there's going to be other protagonists or if this is the main protagonist in the game is just this girl.
Right.
But
But
if
she
you
looks
just look,
pretty awesome.
yeah, and if you just look at the way the scenery moves around while she's crawling through in bushes and this is just like
Yeah.
early footage, it
Right.
still looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it
I
looks fantastic, for
I want
sure.
to know what the canisters she was shooting off are for.
Yeah, might be for their
Because she's saying
survival.
about hunting, and it's like,
Yeah.
are you drinking that liquid, or is that like the power something that we haven't been able to see yet? Because it looks like they're very, well, other than the bow, kind of looks very more high tech. I
Well,
don't
they
know
do
what
have
else.
a good mixture of high tech versus tribe, and that was interesting because the bolts that she's carrying, you can switch those
they're
bolts.
electrified.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do electrical, you can do fire, you can do the bolts that tether the creature down. I mean, there was lots of interesting different choices. So they do have some tech at their disposal, but I'm wondering if they shoot these animals down, hunt, gather to produce more tech, to advance
yeah.
themselves.
I want to know what she's hunting to actually eat, though. Unless she's like the mech hunter, and they have like scavengers or something as well.
I don't know.
she
I
might
didn't
be
It'll
see
be
vegan.
any-
interesting to find out. I mean, it looks pretty badass.
It
Did
does.
we see any actual like wildlife, or was it all mech animals?
They didn't show enough of the game footage for us to actually get into any of that.
Yeah, as far as I could tell, it was all animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I did find it interesting that they, when she had to kill that very first one, right at the, she apologized to it. She's like, "I'm sorry, little one," for having to kill that little sentinel.
Right.
I'm like, that's traditional tribe mentality, and I found that very interesting. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to play this.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. More about
Yeah.
that.
It'll
So
be-
yeah. Next up we had Hitman. No call on extra title, no numbers or anything, just Hitman. And
Well, I
this,
guess we'll get into it later, but during Square Enix, I believe the guy said it's just Hitman. They're not adding
Yeah.
anything to it.
Yeah, and PS4 owners get 6 unique contracts, and the beta's first on PS4 as well, which don't mean out these days, I don't think.
I'm
Do you like
excited for
Hitman?
Hitman. I'm excited
Yeah.
for Hitman. I love the Hitman game, so when I saw this come up, I was super excited just to get another Hitman game out there. They're always fun to me. I love those sandbox creative kind of situations they throw you into, where there's always multiple ways you can go about taking the person out. So yeah, I'm on board for Hitman, and the exclusivity deals. We will, I think, it would be a theme of this conference, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know the thing I hated the most? This year, I have heard pre-order for the beta.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many times. It was like almost every game. It's like pre-order, you get this beta, and it's that making people pre-order so they can get those numbers in, and it's so annoying. I don't want to pre-order to get into a beta. I'd rather sign up and get lucky and get in than have to already buy it.
Right.
Nicole, you were into the Hitman games?
No, I've never played any of them.
Right.
It looks fantastic, like almost movie-like.
Yeah.
So the graphics are absolutely gorgeous. But I've never actually ever played, so it didn't strike any chords with me. I'm sure if I got bored, I might pick it up just to see because I haven't yet. But and just because graphically it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I've never been able to get into one yet.
Blood Money and the last one, Absolution, they were both fantastic games for me. I loved them. Next up, we had an exclusive on the PS4. It's a fighting game, and it's Street Fighter 5.
Exclusive to PS4 and PC.
On PC, yeah.
Don't forget
not
about
for me.
PC, or we'll come after you.
Yeah, it's not really for me. I actually played 4 on the 360 and I was crap at it. I've got Killer Instinct for free on the Xbone, and I've got Injustice on the PS4 for free when it was on PS Plus. So I'm happy with my fighting games. But any of you guys interested in Street Fighter 5?
Nope.
I will probably play it because I do have one friend. He's been on the show, Lee. Um, I'm sure he's gonna get it, and he's gonna want me to get it so he can kick my ass again. Because that's normally what happens with it. I do enjoy them. I like how this one looks a lot better than 4. I'm not a huge fighting game person, but I will pick them up every once in a while. I think it's because my brother and cousin, like, I was young and they used to kick my ass at fighting games. And I just rage quit all the time.
Yeah,
I think this
I'm
is
not.
more for the die-hard fans, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, exactly. And like anybody who grew up with Street Fighter, this is geared toward them. I played it when it first came out, and I remember all that. I just remember how clunky it was, and it wasn't anything. The kicking and punching thing was never my deal. So I'm like, if it doesn't have a chainsaw, you can forget it.
Yeah, my response is yawn, and I just am not a fighting fan. I could care less about these kind of games. So
It's
I'm
the
happy. I'm happy for those that are excited about having this game.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
for those fans who grew up with it, bully, more power to you. But it was just nothing I could get into.
Next up, we had No Man's Sky, and this time we actually got proper gameplay footage for the first time
Yes.
instead of just like a trailer. And holy shit, it's fucking huge!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely
More time.
humongous game. Yeah.
Plus 5.
Yeah. I'm
It
still a
had to
bit
be
worried.
the most nondescript like gameplay reveal from this guy. I felt bad for the developer because he looked like he was so not interested to be on stage and talk about this. He was just kind of like, well, yeah, here we are. We're doing this thing. We can scan if you want. We can go here. We can discover
He was
this.
mouth breathing in the mic the whole time, and it was pissing me off. I'm like,
Yeah.
pull the mic away from your mouth.
I like how he said, yeah, this worked in the trial or whatever he said, the test, and I wouldn't be here if it didn't. So let's go there. I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does look massive, but when they did the multiplayer part where you could join in the battle and all that, I didn't find any of that part interesting. But when he did go to that planet, discover the planet, and then you got to see the flora and fauna, and if you shot at stuff, those little sentinels, which are apparently on every planet, came after you. I found all that fascinating because when he went in the water accidentally, he kept discovering all these fish, and it's like, oh, you
Yeah.
discovered this and this and this, and he would go up to a plant, and it's like, oh, you discovered this, and you know, when you landed and got that beacon, it named the planet, and it was just that part was neat. But as far as the whole battle thing, I didn't find that as interesting.
He didn't even
as
do
the
anything,
exploration.
so
Oh, he went and shot at something for about 5 seconds.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
not much battling. I mean, for people
No,
that have
but
played
it still
Elite
didn't-
Dangerous and everything, it
Yeah,
it didn't
just-
show nearly enough for me to know what to think about it yet.
I guess, yeah, I would be more on the discovery side than the battle side on that game.
Yeah.
I did notice that whenever he went to the planet, he scanned. It's like, oh, there's no alien life here, and then there's fish. There's like a platypus looking thing. I'm like, there's all this stuff here that's alien life as well. And then Dan's like, oh, well, there's trees there. That's alien life. That's alive. I was like, God damn it, Dan. They get all technical on me. But like, I think it's like the worlds look crazy weird, you know, all the different colors and everything. Now, the weird thing I think about it is space is black, and like it looks like he's in a nebula the whole time. Like, yeah, just going through the whole, like zooming out, like it's just all this weird glow color. And if you play like Elite Dangerous, where you're in the Milky Way and you can, you know, look at nebulas in there, and you actually go to a nebula, like it glows in that kind of color. And it's just like it's too much, and it's just like there's a haze throughout the whole universe. So I thought it was really weird. It is another space sim kind of game, so we'll see how we like it. I know Dan was excited for it last year. I'm not exactly sure what he's really thinking about it right now. So yeah, we'll see.
We shall see.
Yeah. Anything else on that, Greg? No.
I mean, it looks fantastic. I think it is. It's showing gameplay elements that we want to see. We've been asking to see.
Yeah.
I do have worries that this is too big. I mean,
Yeah.
this whole thing of him being like, well, you've discovered a planet, and likely nobody else is going to ever see this planet. I think kind of part of exploration, though, is in things like this, is you want other people to find the planets and see the planets you've discovered. So that could be a little off-putting if, in fact, it turns out that it's so big and so wide open that you aren't able to discover things that other people have discovered. But hopefully, it's not going to be the case.
Yeah, I'm just hoping it's not going to be one of those games where it gets boring really quickly and you forget about it.
Right.
Well, I've just
depends.
started playing Elite Dangerous today on the Xbox One on that new preview thing they launched.
Oh yeah.
And oh my god, I'm loving it so far. And that is huge as well. But the difference with that is you've got something to do. You're going out there. You're trying to improve your ship. You're trying to make money and stuff. So you've got some like goals. So what the goals will be in No Man's Sky, I don't know. But yeah, we'll see.
It's probably gonna have some kind of the same. And Dan corrected me again. He said, "Actually, space is more of a lat color."
Latte, not
Latte.
lat.
Oh, yeah, latte.
Yeah. And he's definitely getting the game back.
Yeah, he says he's getting it.
Yeah.
So he's excited.
Yeah. Next we had Media Molecules on the stage, and at first I thought, here we go, Tearaway Unfolded, but no, it was a new concept called Dreams. A new vision, what we're going down. It looks unique and different and very innovative, if I can speak properly. So what are you guys' thoughts on this one then? Did this surprise you?
Well, first thing, I think the reason they didn't show Tearaway was because they did have a preview right before the show of it, and they kind of showed it off
Right.
and different things in there. Media Molecule likes to do some weird stuff.
Yeah.
And just like
I
looking
like
at him,
stuff that's
like using the
different, though.
controller and like
Yeah.
pulling the stuff out. Like if you're really artistic, I could definitely see people really getting into it. And what they showed there, like of people actually animating stuff, was insane. I mean
Yeah.
that was their team or whatever that did it, but wow.
Yeah, it's basically they were just drawing things with a controller on a screen and then animating it, and then I don't know, it just seemed to come to life. It looks a weird concept, but
Yes.
what do you think, Greg?
So games like this, I have difficulty with only from the standpoint of I don't know where the game is, and that's why I struggle with games like Little Big Planet, Project Spark, those kinds of creativity games where it's play other people's creations. I need more structure to my game than that. So to me, I was kind of like, okay. It's a bunch of people putting their eyes, putting their ideas to a quote unquote game that I don't even know really what the game is.
Yeah.
Play someone's dreams. Well, I don't know that I care to. So it looks cool. I will give it that, but I don't know this is a game I really will ever care about.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting to see where it'll go eventually. Is this something you'd
absolutely.
like, Nicole? Because you're a very artistic, creative person. This would be right
Well,
up
when
your
he
street, wouldn't
started, yeah, he starts describing it, and I'm like, well, this sounds like it could be interesting. And then they show it, and I'm like, this is what I wrote in my notes. Blink, blink.
it?
Because it took on this creepy effect. I'm like, he starts morphing the dude, and then the guy's playing a piano, and then you're adding furniture, and I'm just like,
Don't
I
forget
don't,
row your boat.
and it was creepy after a while, and I'm like, I have enough trouble trying to figure out my own dreams. Why do I want to play in somebody else's? And then there was one scene where they show a sledgehammer wielding teddy bear in a dress. I'm like, that's somebody else's dream. That gets scary after a while. I'm like, do you really want to know what somebody else is dreaming? I'm like, and I'm a very creative person, but that just did not appeal to me. It
Right.
just has a dark feel to it.
Yeah. Next up was sort of like, I think it's just mainly CGI. It's like teaser trailer for a new IP, new game called Firewatch. I've not even heard of this
Yes.
before. I'm not sure what the actual gameplay is about, but it looks quite interesting.
Yeah.
Someone's in this guy's guard tower. Over radio, someone says someone in your tower, and he has to go back and investigate. So looks interesting.
Yeah,
Is it going to be a bit Hills of Eyes type thing or
it's
Wrong
an
Turn
indie
type thing?
title. It's an indie title. I want to say this was it a Kickstarter? I don't know.
I know one of the Kickstarters is further down.
Yeah.
Oh
We'll get to
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. We're not. Yeah. Fuck that game. But I thought it looked cool. It intrigued me enough because he's going around and they're talking on the radio, and the girl on the other end is like, "You're the only one I can talk to. The lines are down," and he's going and trying to discover things and look around. So, and then she's like, "Well, aren't you in your tower?" And he's like, "No." Well, then who is? So it gave you this.
Yeah.
It's something bad's about to happen. She had that little
Yeah.
aura to it. So
Right.
you want to go investigate more. And that's how they leave it off. And you're like, oh shit, I want to see more. So it did catch my interest.
Yeah, it had a bit of a cel-shaded type vibe to it as well to me, I thought.
And the it was a little cartoony too.
Yeah,
like the hands on the
But
character
like Team
seemed
Fortress.
a little puffy.
Yeah.
Team Fortress is probably a good description. I think it's gonna be cool.
Yeah. Next up, we had a preview of the next massive expansion release for one of the greatest games ever, Destiny.
as Greg rolls his eyes.
This is called The Taken King, and it's basically Crota's father. He's come for revenge because you beat down his son with his own sword.
Mark, they've renamed this
so
actually.
they stole it from Guild Wars lore.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, they renamed this. It's actually now called Take Your Money.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
They can have my money. It's going to be
Buy an
fantastic.
expansion after 1 month.
Take my money right now because each class has a new subclass. So the Titan's getting a new ability. I think it's something to do with a void thing. There's a solar hammer for one of the dudes. I can't remember what ones they are. There's loads of different new moves and goodies you can get. So it's going to be good. For those who love Destiny, this is going to be good. I'm hoping there's going to be a new raid. There better be.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah,
If this is going to be another $30 or whatever, you're not getting nearly enough for this game.
Well,
I don't want to bitch about it too much, but it is terrible.
Yeah. It was only me and Nicole played Destiny out of you guys, so we know what we're talking about, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, but from someone that's played a real MMO and has gone
Never
over
said it was
1,200 hours.
It's not an MMO. They'll tell you
They
that.
called it massive multiplayer online, and they're taking so much money for so little. One raid for how much money, and some extra loot.
There's story missions as well. There's as well as a raid, there's a strike, and there's story missions.
I've just been wanting to say this for a while, but playing Guild Wars 2, they've put in free content since the beginning every 2 weeks for the past 2 years or whatever, and the expansion's finally coming out later this year, and it's gonna add probably another 1,000 hours for me to play. That's what I find it spending my money right.
We'll move on then because you guys hate Destiny.
It looks awesome. I'm not going to deny it. It does not look fantastic. I'm just not a huge Destiny player. So
then we had Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which we've already covered in the Ubisoft one, haven't we? So no else to add there, is there?
Nope.
And then we had a world exclusive called World of Final Fantasy. I'm not really into my Final Fantasies, so I've just got a bit of a meh
in
my notes.
Nicole, it looks adorable.
I know. And
I thought...
Go ahead, Mark.
I'm going to say, straight away, I thought this would be up Gary's street, so...
Up his street?
I love...
Yeah. That's
his alley.
I got something going somewhere else. Just skip over this because I need to scream wildly like a girl.
See, in here, I have... nope. Too chibi looking for me. Kids might like it, but not my gaming style. And
I like it goes chibi to they kind of like transform whenever they go in the battle.
Yeah, I know. And then they're not chibi, they're anime. And no, screw that.
Fuck this game. That's my
Exactly.
response. Fuck this game. Fuck the
All right.
Japanese RPG. I wanted to just rage when I saw this.
Yep.
It's Final Fantasy. It's Square Enix running out of ideas, and so they say, "Well, we'll give you the same shit we give you every year, except for this time we're going to make them fucking munchkins." That's the premise of this
That's
game.
exactly what they did. And I'm like, oh my God. If I want to play a chibi game, I'll get a Nintendo.
Well, carrying on the theme of crappy remakes, and we're going to get slated for this because I know there's a lot of people out there who love this. They're doing a remake of Final Fantasy VII.
Yes. Yes. Okay, I need to take you through this experience. Okay,
No,
I sat there.
we're on a
And-
time.
I don't care. I sat there and I heard the music start, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And then I saw I just know a lot from Final Fantasy VII, watching like having children and everything. I just watching it, my heart started racing, and seeing it, and I saw Barrett's damn cannon arm, and I started to freak out, and I saw Cloud, and they's like remake, and I just lost my shit. I was so happy.
Well, instead of just like releasing it, they're giving it a full, complete makeover out of this time.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah. I must admit, it did look good. It's not my sort of thing, but I've not really been into the Final Fantasies, but I did actually play it on PS1.
Bongo said, oh
Congratulations.
God, kill me now.
Yeah, that was really kind of my.
Yeah.
Okay, I know everybody's clamoring for this game. I say, why do we have to remake something? I know it was good in the past, Gary, and I can appreciate your wanting it to be remade, but they have failed so miserably at making new good games. I want them to focus on that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been wanting this since PS3 was announced.
Oh, and there's another game right after this that millions, well, actually not millions, probably hundreds of thousands of people that are boisterous want. And I have something I want to say about that. So let's move on.
Yes, moving on.
Yeah. Next, we have 4 indie titles from Devolver Digital. These guys are the people who did. Did they do the Miami thing? What was it?
Sure.
I don't know, but they all suck.
Hotline Miami?
So.
Yeah,
Hotline
that's
Miami?
it. Yeah. So yeah, they're all sort of like retro style pixel art type things. So yeah, Chris Williams are probably enjoying them, but not for me.
Yeah, the one where they're stabbing a pig, and then the next one, Mother Russia bleeds. And my comment is here. Well, good for it.
Ronan looks
Moving
pretty
on.
cool. Ronan looks pretty cool. I have to admit.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 out of 4.
Sure.
Come on now.
Yeah, and then after we had the indie showcase thing,
Right.
they got this Japanese guy on stage,
Yes.
to sort of like announce a new game, but they announced a Kickstarter. So they publicly were begging, in my view.
Right.
Yes.
It was like public begging, give us your money, because we don't want to fund it, so you guys can fund it.
Right. And it'll fund. It'll fund.
Oh, it has. It's done it already.
It's
It's done
funded
it already.
in like
Yeah.
12 hours.
Yeah.
I was chatting with Verbal Rob on Facebook earlier, and it hit its target ages ago.
Yeah.
And he said, because I said, well, why didn't Sony just fund it? Well, he said that he might want to release it on different platforms. So,
It is going to come out on different platforms, at least PC
Yeah.
from what I know. But
Yeah.
you know what? Fuck
And
that.
I don't mind it.
No,
Yeah.
not in an E3
I don't mind
conference.
the one-off, but
Right.
like you said,
I
Greg,
thought,
this is going to cause an
dumbest thing
influx.
ever.
Yeah.
This is grandstanding.
Well, it felt dirty. I mean, I mean, here we have Sony, who admittedly has been telling us for months on months on end how fantastic the sales of the PS4 have been, how they are doing so great beyond their wildest dreams, and they drag this guy up on stage, and they're basically saying, hey, here's this game you all have been asking for, and we are not going to back it, but if you back it, we'll help him make it. It just felt gross, and it's concerning to me that this succeeded, because this now opens the doors to them doing it again. And anytime they feel something is potentially shaky, they're going to be like, we'll do a Kickstarter. And now we're seeing Sony literally hand in hand doing a Kickstarter. It feels gross. I was like, fuck you, Sony, pay for it. They do this countdown thing, and I thought, okay, maybe they're just pulling our legs and they're going to say, hey, we've actually funded this. And it's like, no, hey, support him. And it's just like, this is just a bad trend. And this is why I don't...
Yeah, because this is done so well, so quickly, you just know it's just going to become the norm now. And that's not the way I think the industry needs to go.
Yeah. And the next Uncharted, it'll be a Kickstarter. And not because it needs to be, but Sony wants your money ahead of time. So they're going to say, hey, give us your money because we can't afford to make the next Uncharted game, so we're doing a Kickstarter because Naughty Dog is too poor. And it's just, and I know that's exaggerating. Nardy Dog. I know that's exaggerating, but
Anybody actually played any of these Shenmue games? 'Cause I've never played them.
Nope, too Japanesey for me. No offense.
Yeah.
I'd want to play them, I just haven't.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that Kickstarter thing, my eyes rolled so hard.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that they actually did that. Like, how? Why? Like, if you're gonna bring somebody out on E3 with a game that's not even technically being made because you don't know if it's good enough, and then it's like, oh yeah, you got all this publicity now. Everyone went out that second. It got. I think they said by the end of the conference they already had 300,000 funded.
Yeah, this afternoon it had 1.3 million.
Yeah, it was already funded in 12 hours. It was ridiculous.
All right, we hate what they did. Move on.
Yeah. We give them enough time.
Yeah. Next we had a game that's coming out in just over a week's time, I believe. Batman Arkham Knight, but they were showcasing the sort of like the exclusive Scarecrow missions.
Yeah.
Batman looks awesome.
Yeah.
It did. It was a little creepy, little strange. Like, you see him, that little hallucination scene, and I was like, what the hell just happened? So
I was where they started off with Joker being cremated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's who that is in the, and I think when he had his little hallucination, all those.
I'm not waving to you, Nicole. I'm waving to Mark.
Oh, why? Because you think he's cute?
I do. I think he's hot.
It's because he's bald. But it was it kind of caught me off guard, I guess, because you hear all this cool old music. You're thinking this guy's gonna go tell this other dude to quit smoking a cigarette and maybe a gunfight will break out. And no, it's all kinds of weirdness, and it starts that whole hallucination thing. And I was like, well, already then. It was interesting.
And then he goes into basically killing innocent people.
I'm going to say, start shooting people, thinking they're these monster things. Yeah.
But see, and I think those monster things were a burnt Joker.
Right.
That's what they look. It looked to me like
the guy. So do you think the guy that was talking was that actual cop that said he pushed the button? To cremate him.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like,
he's terrified by the Joker. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, because if you go look at the scene, it looks like he's shooting burnt up corpses.
Yeah.
And who did we just talk about?
I was thinking demons at the time. I wasn't even thinking of that, but yeah, that makes sense.
No, I don't know.
I'm on board with it.
Now I want to see if that's going to play into the story, or if that's just
it don't end.
It's I don't know, because it's exclusive content. So is it the Catwoman thing, or?
Yeah, I think it's going to be similar to the Catwoman thing. I think they're going to support this game with a lot of one-off missions, from what I understand. So this is just one of those kind of one-off missions that you'll get, and it's the plus of getting the PS4 version. It's part of their deal.
Mm.
I mean, I guess we'll know more soon enough, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll come out in 6 months to the other
probably
platforms anyway.
Yeah. But next we had Andrew House come out, and he went into a bit of the hardware side with Morpheus, and I was so pleased that they didn't go on about any motion control hand stuff, because there's been rumours and speculations about this real eyes thing,
Right.
And these like Move 2 controllers. So they may be true, they may be a hoax, I don't know, but they didn't show any, which I was glad about.
Yeah.
Um,
I was
but
actually kind of shocked they didn't show more Morpheus.
yeah,
For a peripheral and well, okay, so there were two things to this that really surprised me. One was the lack of attention they gave Morpheus in the conference itself, especially when they've got a good chunk of the E3 floor dedicated to it. And and the other part of it was just the lack of actual like named exclusive games where they're like these are big profile Morpheus titles to get excited about. When you're launching hardware Q1 of 2016, because that is my understanding of when they're looking to launch, you got to start getting people excited for this now. And it
yeah,
seems like Oculus kind of one-upped them a little bit with their announcement of some exclusive games coming to Oculus that were kind of more on the bigger realm, if you will.
yeah.
I'm still
It's
surprised they
hard to
haven't
demo,
even.
isn't it?
Well, yeah, if you're not there, you can't really get a feel for it. But I thought it was weird they haven't even changed it from being Project Morpheus. Are they actually going to call it Morpheus in the end? I would think they change it to something.
The dog thinks the same thing. Shocked that they didn't name it something different. Maybe they're going to wait to make that announcement in the France show.
Yeah.
That they're that's when they're going to have their next content reveals and press conference. I don't know. It was a weird positioning from them with regards to Morpheus. I really was surprised by it.
And then he went on about what we all slagged Microsoft off for a couple of years ago: TV.
TV.
Yeah,
PS
PS View.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only thing I did like about this was you can select individual channels and tailor make your own package where you don't have to buy a big bundle of packages. Because
Yes.
I don't know if it's like for you guys, but over here, if you buy a package on Sky or Virgin, you get a shitload of channels what you'd
Right.
never ever watch.
Right.
Same
Just
here.
to get one or two what you do watch.
Yep.
So I quite like that idea, but yeah, it's not available over a large area yet, is it? Was it New York and wherever, and it's coming out in San Francisco and California or something? I don't know.
Yeah, it'll
Los
do East
Angeles.
Coast, West Coast, right? Major cities first. Try it out, and then you'll get and see how I guess it's they'll see how it goes and then revamp it if they have to. But I like the idea of the a la carte picking what I want.
Yeah.
It's a good thing the industry is as a whole, for the television industry as a whole, is going towards this model of a la carte picking. What I'm not clear on with View, and I thought it was the case, but I could be wrong. I know you can pick your individual channels, but I still think there's like a bundle base price you have to buy into. And I want to say it's like either 50 or 60 a month, but you'll be able to select the channels that are part of that, which is perfectly fine. I like that idea, as long as they're channels I want. I like the ability to kind of pick and choose what I want to put into that quote-unquote package.
Yeah.
So
We'll find out more, I'm sure.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Bailey.
And then Sony had stolen Microsoft's thunder on the Call of Duty franchise, and they showed Black Ops 3.
Yes.
And they have exclusivity on all the maps now. And I thought, who cares? I'm past all that now. I wasn't right impressed with this, to be honest. It looks good, but I don't know. I think we need to go back to old school and back to the basics of what Call of Duty was. I think there's too much gadgety shit in it now. Advanced Warfare was good, but this looks even more sillier.
Bring us back to World War II.
Yeah, because this takes place in 2065.
Yeah.
And they do the single player and 4-player co-op. So, the futuristic aspect of it wasn't as appealing, but the fact that they got a Black Ops again, I found very appealing, because I loved playing Black Ops 2. That was one of my favorite games to play. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. I think this one would be a little exciting. I won't play it on the PS4 though.
Wow. Because
I know.
your friends out on there who play it.
Yes, the people I play with are on the Xbox,
Yeah.
and they're none of them are on PlayStation.
No.
So I will end up waiting until they all get it on the Xbox, and I'll get it on the Xbox, and we'll go from there. That's
It's
just one
exactly
of
why I bought
those.
it. Xbox,
Yeah.
yeah. Last year's Call of Duty, yeah.
hmm So why kick a, and I get that they get the exclusive maps and all that, and
Yeah.
yay, go for it. I'm
You
excited
just
for
have,
you. Piss
you just
off.
got to wait a month. Just wait a month and you'll get it. Doesn't matter, does
Exactly.
it?
Yep.
I
Yeah.
haven't played Call of Duty since World at War.
I still have that game.
It's
So do
it's
I.
it's
I
become an
should burn
every
it.
yeah it's become an every other year franchise for me
Yeah.
because it seems like they release one good game and then one bad game, one good game, one bad game. Advanced Warfare I quite liked, but I really haven't touched multiplayer. I played it for the single player, and if I play Black Ops 3, it'll be a rent. I'm not going to play it for the multiplayer. So
Yeah. Then we got a bit of a montage of different clips put together, and I thought that was too long and not necessary. I think it was just filler for this show. And then we had Disney Infinity 3.0,
And
which
Courtney's
was basically
screaming, "Woo!"
pimping out Star
Oh,
Wars characters.
yeah. I'm so
With
glad that my son had walked out by that point.
yeah.
So glad because if he had seen that, holy crap. So, that's another $60 I only paid 40 for two. But honestly, it's not even been a year yet and we're already 3.0. I'm like
Yeah.
2.0 came out just before Christmas last year. We're doing 3.0 now and it's not even Christmas. And so
Skylanders doing the
it's
same
Well,
thing.
it's the
yeah,
year
and
of
it's
Star Wars,
$64.
so they have to get it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's $64 for the that starter pack thing. I paid 40 because I got a special deal at Christmas. So I'll wait again because my kids are gonna have to have it.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's going to be a massive money spinner, is that thing?
Yeah.
I did think it was cool. They were showing off. You're gonna play like parts of like the Star Wars prequel trilogy, and then like the actual original trilogy, like playing different scenes from those eras of the movies, and I thought that'd be kind of cool to look into. Um,
Yeah.
Courtney will get it anyway and get every single one of the figures because that's her shit.
She'll take over your amiibo shelf.
As soon as we're done with this, I will show you her shelf of Disney Infinity. We have a 3-foot shelf that's packed, and we need another shelf now because of it.
People need help.
Yeah.
All right.
Next, we had Star Wars Battlefront shown,
Yeah.
which again we've already covered in the
Yep. It's
previous
pretty.
EA one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn pretty game.
And then we finished off with the Piece of Resistance, the flagship of Sony's games, Uncharted 4. And I don't think the demo went very well to start with. I think there was a few
No, it
hiccups.
froze.
Yeah.
Well,
I
yeah.
don't
So
think I think this controller disconnected or something because
Yeah.
it was just stood there and everyone's milling
Yeah.
about. And,
I was looking at Drake and I'm like, is he drunk? Because he's just kind of hunched over and he's just standing there and he's not doing anything. I'm like, what is
Yeah.
going on? I mean, once they got it running back up,
yeah,
and obviously
they restarted it and
Yeah.
it was working.
well, I
and it
don't
looked
I don't know if they
amazing.
restarted or they just kicked over to pre-footage that they you always record a backup,
Right.
basically a run through of the demo you're doing on stage. I'm sure that's what they did. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
It does.
And
It looks
open
very
world,
intense.
very open world.
Yeah,
We were talking about this.
because mainly the other games in this franchise are usually quite linear.
Right.
So yeah, it looks quite open. Does this? Looks like there's no restrictions where you can go to escape that tank thing.
Right.
Yeah,
But
he goes through fences.
I mean, it's all scripted
Oh.
still where it's coming in.
yeah, I was just gonna say because to Gary's point,
It's very linear. I think it's going to be the same thing. It's just a bigger area you're going through.
you might
Yeah.
have a point, Gary, because if you do notice throughout this escape route, no matter where he goes, that tank always finds him, and it's almost like it's funneling down to a point, and maybe that's the way the map kind of takes it. It kind of funnels everything down into.
They're going to that tower thing
Right,
that
the tower.
blew up.
So eventually you'll get there regardless. and the tank is always going to be busting back in along your pathway. Regardless of where you're at, it will find a way to get in there 3 to 4 times before you get to the tower.
I was loving the banter between Sully and Drake.
Oh
It was
yeah,
funny.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean it's Naughty Dog at their best.
yeah.
Sully and Drake having that interaction is it's fun stuff. It's
Yeah,
popcorn action movie fun.
the
Uh,
writing in these games is superb, and it makes you wonder with them losing. Is it Amy Hemings?
Right.
Because she wrote a lot of these early games, didn't she?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it makes you wonder how they're going to stack up with this one, but it looks just as good. Like for me, Uncharted 2 is one of the best games I've ever played.
I like what my one friend Zero Morning says. He's like, Uncharted 4 is over 40 hours long. 36 of it is Nathan standing in the crowd.
Nice.
Oh dear, it's great.
So, does this want to make you get a PS4, Greg?
I bought my previous PS4 for Uncharted games, so
PS3, yeah, you did, yeah.
So did I say PS4? Yeah, PS3.
Yeah, PS3, yeah.
So yeah, this very well could be a linchpin for me getting a PS4 down the road here.
Yeah.
It is one of those rare series that you can say is worthy of console consideration. There's not a
Oh,
lot
you
of
mean
games
like
out there that
Gears?
exactly.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of games out there that I sit there and say, you know what, this is a game. If you are interested in this game, it's worth making that purchase. And I think Uncharted is definitely up there. So
See, I like Gears of War, but I didn't see enough in Gears 4. I don't know anything what's going on exactly yet, so I don't. I mean, that thunderstorm thing, whatever the hell they called it, was awesome looking. But I need to know more before I want to get, because I have neither one of the two. So Uncharted 4 is cool. I guess it's going to be what game am I going to enjoy more to actually finally get one of these consoles? Because
Gears.
I'm back and forth.
Gears. And I'll tell you why
Courtney's in love
Gears.
with Gears because
Gears you can do with you can do with multiple people, and it is freaking hilariously fun. Especially ask Mark.
Yeah.
We had some of the best times. It just
We played
I
every
mean-
Friday night for what, a year or so.
Yeah,
Doing
and-
Gears 3 horde mode. Oh, it was.
it
awesome.
was yeah. And we had a blast. In any game that you can play as a community is far more fun, I think, than when you're sitting there, mashing buttons alone.
Yeah. So to wrap it up, then, what sort of grades are you going to give Sony then? Greg?
I think Sony, I'd say B plus. I was not a fan of most of the middle of the show. I thought Sony started super strong. I thought they finished strong. I felt that the middle of the show to me lagged a lot, and it was mostly because it was all third-party announcement. Third party this, world premiere here, timed exclusive here. So it was a lot of games that were going to be coming to other platforms. It wasn't really exclusive to them. So, yeah, I just I felt that was probably the a B plus, maybe A minus. I mean, it was a fun show. It didn't go on too long. I felt they didn't dabble too long on TV, and maybe some more Morpheus stuff would have pushed it. And I know that's surprising for me to be saying because I don't care about VR, but I think it's an important thing for them to be addressing, and the fact that they didn't really address the conference to me was a missed opportunity, especially given how relevant it is right now in conversations.
It seems to give you the impression that they're not confident about their own product, I think, which is a bit worrying, but...
Yeah, there is that. Hopefully that is not the case.
Yeah. Gary, what grade would you give it?
I think I'll give it an A because of Final Fantasy VII.
Well, that's what
A
we
star, as Mark would give it.
Yeah.
Like, that shit's got me excited. I want it so bad.
Nicole?
No, but
I think I'm gonna have to go with him. Maybe a B. B plus. It was. these guys have got to change their formats. We discussed this a little bit earlier amongst
Yeah.
ourselves, and it was by far one of the better conferences of the ones we watched. Now, mind you, Xbox got my A. Simply
Yeah.
because I sat like screaming at the TV the whole time because I was so excited about Gears. Um, but they need to change their formula. It's time to think differently when it comes to presenting these because, like you said, there's a lot of faltering. It's like they're not supporting their own exclusives, or they're not. I don't know that, or they do weird things like Nintendo. Oh, Lord have mercy. Which I'm sorry, but that upset even Nintendo fans. It's like
Oh,
be creative, but be smart.
Yeah.
So they'll get a B out of it from me.
Yeah. But get a B plus from me as well. I love my PS4. I have done from launch. I've always preferred it over my Xbox until recently. I mean, God, Microsoft's conference this year. I know we are covering Microsoft, but I just have to say, Microsoft this year's conference made up for the last 2 years and then some. It was
Yep.
that it's not often something gets me so excited and pumped, but that conference was from beginning to end superb. And like you said, Greg, the Sony one had a bit of a lull in it, bits
Right.
of it. And granted, if you love Final Fantasy, then you probably didn't have that lull, but I did.
true. Yeah,
Because
true.
I'm not
True.
interested. So, yeah, Microsoft definitely got an A plus from me, but yeah, B plus for Sony from me.
Yeah.
All right. Gary, this is where we're going to unfortunately not have a lot of time, so I apologize. We're probably giving a
Oh
disservice
no, that's
to
fine. I'll run through it right now. Okay. we're
Nintendo
done.
fans.
Nintendo.
So
Oh.
let's run through it, Gary. I'm gonna walk through this. You're our resident Nintendo fan, so if you want to talk about something, stop me. But I'm gonna run through this list pretty quick, from
Well,
start to
first,
finish.
you probably aren't going to do it. They did have a Nintendo Direct on Sunday of Super Smash Brothers, where they brought out Ryu, Lucas, Roy. Well, Lucas was already announced, but Ryu and Roy were announced on that, and of course, everything's getting amiibo. But I thought it
Right.
was really cool with Ryu, or Ryu, whatever you want to say. You can actually play him differently as well, where like you can actually put in his commands for like the actual Street Fighter games, and it makes the moves more powerful. So like if you've played the Street Fighter games and you know him very well, like you'll be able to kick ass. That's all I really want to touch on that. They had like a half an hour in it, but nobody else cares about it. They
Well-
also had the Nintendo World Championships as well,
Right.
and that was Mark even said it was cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
Yes,
look at
quite
that.
good,
Yeah, first good thing out of Nintendo he's ever said to me.
yeah.
They
thought it
started
was
on a
really-
high note. I mean, coming into E3, really, you think about it, the weekend was good for them.
And then they fucked it up.
Well-
Bad.
Yeah. So here we go, Gary. They start off the conference. Star Fox, big announcement. We knew it was coming. I mean, my thoughts were it looked pretty fast and fluid, but visually it felt a little dated,
Yeah,
or at least
I'm
not
hoping something-
impressed.
I'm so hoping something happens in the next few months, but there's not much more they can do to it, I don't think.
I mean, there
But
were
it
transforming
looked-
vehicles. You could transform your Star Fox.
Yeah, it looked bad for like a lot of the Wii U games that have come out. Like a lot of them have looked amazing, really nice. Like just looking at Zelda Wii U last year, that was gorgeous. This kind of looks still blocky.
Right.
So
Right. It did not feel, for lack of a better way to put it, next gen. Super Mario, well, not Super Mario Brother. Amiibos kind of took center stage again. They really were throughout the conference. Let's face the facts. But Skylanders Superchargers, with partnership with Skylanders, the Amiibos making their way into that.
that was interesting. And the other thing was like them saying, Reggie saying like how easy was it or how hard was it working with Nintendo on using their characters, and then the guy's like, oh, because I guess it's some that everyone says like Nintendo will not like share their shit.
Right.
They don't play nice with others, but like them actually letting them use their characters and telling the guys at Activision or behind Skylanders to actually like do something with the characters not the same as what's been done. And I thought that was kind of cool. That they're letting them do that stuff, and it shows that they're not completely against shit. But it's Skylanders. I don't give a shit about that. I'll probably still get the amiibo Skylander. It'll be the only Skylanders I'll ever get.
Right. And Mark and Nicole, if either of you have anything to say on this, I'm kind of directing this towards Gary because he actually likes Nintendo, and
I'll be the only one to give any feedback.
Yeah. So
Nicole
next,
walked away. She's like, screw
I know,
this.
she's like, I'm out of here. We had a series of 3DS games that were announced: Zelda Triforce Heroes, Hyrule Warriors Legends, Metroid Prime Federation Force, Fire Emblem Fates, and I think that was a series of 4 for 3DS. 3DS got a lot of love in this conference.
Yeah, that's
as
the other
they
thing.
always do.
Yeah, that like they brought way too much 3DS and not nearly any Wii U. Zelda Triforce Heroes is cool. It's basically like the Four Swords games that came out.
Right.
You're going to be able to do co-op with friends. The costumes are kind of interesting, how they give different abilities and all that. Now, the Hyrule Warriors thing was leaked. I think it was completely on accident, and then they just said, well, here it is. But then they shut it off, so we don't really need to go into that, but they're calling it Hyrule Warriors Legends. Yeah.
Yes.
And then they went to the Metroid Prime Federation Force, and I looked at that going, what the hell are they doing? Because other than, it doesn't even have Samus in it that I saw.
Right.
I don't know what you're doing. But they put Blast Ball as like a mode in it.
Right.
So, because I saw the guys was like, oh, they're showing off Blast Ball, and then it's like, oh, it's Metroid Prime, okay. And then they brought the Blast Ball into it, which people were saying that like Blast Ball stole Metroid's like style of text that they're using, and then they showed it off as Metroid Prime Blast Ball. So that was different. But I don't even know if I'm gonna want to even look at this game because it kind of looks shitty. Fire Emblem, always good.
Okay.
I want to look more into that. And then the next thing they announced was Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem. They kind of showed it off for Japan's. They had a Japan Nintendo Direct that had it in it.
Right.
But that looks like it's going to be an interesting game. I don't know that much about Shin Megami Tensei, but it's interesting, so we'll see. Now the next one, Xenoblade Chronicles X. It's like we've been waiting for it for like 2 years now.
Right.
And it's finally gonna come out. That's my highlight of the whole thing. Really was them giving the release date, which that's like a whoa.
Yeah, and it looks good. I have to give, this is one of 2 games out of the Nintendo Direct that I actually cared about and thought I took notice of, I should say. So Xenoblade Chronicles X looks the business. It looks like they've done a nice job of bringing that to the Wii U. Animal Crossing's Happy
Home Designer.
Yeah, Happy Home Designer, which looked like it was using playable cards. Did I see that properly?
This is the first game to use the amiibo cards, and they're gonna be like selling packs of them. I don't know how many are gonna be in a pack or whatever, but it's like cards with characters, cards with furniture and stuff like that. This is it's gonna be super. They're gonna get tons of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because there are a lot of people that love.
Yep. And not to be done.
How do the cards work? Have they got like an RF chip, or do they?
No,
they have the NFC chip in the card.
Right.
So basically, the NFC chip is like just this tiny piece of tape, basically. It's just like inside the card to use.
Yeah.
So that's how they're doing that, and then they also have like a scanner thing that's going to attach to the 3DS that you can use for those if you don't have a new 3DS with it built in.
More things to buy. Animal Crossing's Amiibo Festival. Again, the Toys to Life just permeating throughout Nintendo. So,
which is, it's good that they do a little bit more. Is
it really, Gary? Is it really?
I mean, they're doing something with it, but
That's a no.
Honestly, I was kind of upset that they didn't bring anything to really use Amiibo in. Like, you put this Amiibo on, and then you're walking around as that character in, like, say, Disney Infinity.
Right.
But this basically, I saw it as Animal Crossing's Mario Party. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think they even showed enough. I just saw rolled dice. They were talking to one another. I don't even know what the hell was going on, but it basically looked like it was going to be Mario Party with Animal Crossing. I know one person that's going to get their money. Actually, it's that guy that you don't or just figured out about, Shannon Reifenberg. He loves Animal Crossing a lot. But
Okay.
yeah.
Next up was Yoshi Woolly World,
Yoshi's
which
Woolly World,
looked
Nicole's
great.
favorite thing.
I thought
Yeah,
the game looked
this
fantastic.
is the only thing I like to look
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
It is very, very